Well, a very good evening to our viewers. We thank you so much for taking time to join us this beautiful evening. This is February 2023. And today in studio, I have with me a very handsome gentleman all the way from Thika Road, but his rural home is Migori. I hope I'm right. And I want to invite him just to tell us more. And before I invite him, I want to let you know that today your host won an award as Mediapreneur of the Year. So once again, welcome to the show. I am Belinda Odhiambo, and this is your favorite show, Do for Self podcast. So welcome so much. Welcome, Hilary. I can see you are a doctor and you're still very young. I believe that you're very young, but we want to know more about you. We want to know what intrigued you about speech therapy. So the stage is yours, Dr. Hilary. Karibu.
Okay, thank you for that wonderful introduction. Thank you so much, Belinda. As you have just said, my name is Hilary Ochieng. I think I don't know about the handsomeness you talked about, but I will go to the mirror to confirm that. I reside around Thika Road, just the way you have said. My rural home is in Migori, South Nyanza. We have a lot of sugarcane there.
Yes.
So, concerning my educational background, I'm an SLP. SLP is speech language pathologist at a master's level, and also an educationist. I'm also a sign language interpreter. I have so many capes to to put on. A sign language
Yes.
interpreter. I'm also a real estate investor at the same time. I do multiple jobs. I'm also a content writer.
Yes.
So I'm very happy to be in this program today, and I think we shall learn more as we move on.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Hilary Ochieng. I like asking this question. Who was your crush when you were 15 years old?
Let me scratch my head a little bit. You see, that must be a long, long time ago, when we
Oh,
were
yeah.
playing when we were playing hide and seek or Baba na Mama. I had a neighbor. A neighbor was my crush, but we didn't know anything by that time, so it was just a crush. We just hung out together. We just enjoyed each other's company, and we learned together. We went to the same school.
Wow. Can you remember the name?
Aha, the name is Daisy. Right now, I think
Daisy.
she's in US right now. Yes, yes.
Wow, Daisy, wherever you are, at some point in this lifetime, you took away our doctor, our speech therapist's heart. But thank God he is still alive.
My heart is here. My heart is
He is
intact.
there exactly.
My heart is with
So
men's conference.
men's conference, men's power. So, without further ado, I just want us to delve deep into our discussion, which is speech therapy. Um, what what is the main course? Okay, before I even get to the main course, what intrigued you to get into speech therapy? As a career.
Okay, speech therapy has been something that I've really loved to join because I have a neighbor who is deaf. So it's quite a long story, but let me try to shorten it. He's deaf and he was not able to communicate. So I've been wondering what is really the issue. I've been wondering to date. So sometimes we used to try to communicate with him, but I was not able to communicate with him. So I decided to go and study sign language, sign language, so that I could communicate with him. After doing the sign language, I realized that I wanted to know more. Why is this person not able to communicate? And then that one made me spread the love because I grew up with them. I also developed that love and passion for people who have hearing impaired. So I could get so many of them, and I decided maybe it is high time for me to go deep in understand why these people are not able to communicate. And when I went
Mm-hmm.
deep, I realized more, even why children and adults and so many issues that pertains to speech therapy. So that is really what motivated me to join the field.
Oh, that is what motivated you to join speech therapy, especially as a career and also as a study. But then now,
Yes.
for the layman like us, what is speech therapy? Or lay women?
Okay, you are a layman, you are a lay person.
All right.
Yeah, yeah. So it is, first of all, let me just give it an overview. A speech
Mm-hmm.
therapist is a specialist, a medical field, or a specialist in a medical field that diagnose, assess, and treat communication-based disorders. So communication-based disorders are very wide. They are divided into different categories. So we have, for example, we have articulation disorders. For example, let me use an example if I'm explaining. Articulation disorders, for example, children who are not able to express themselves at a given
Mm-hmm.
age because they are
Yes.
having issues with their articulators. We have a lot of articulators that facilitate communication. For example,
All
we have
right.
lip, we have palate, we have pharynx. All of them play even the tongue. They play a key
Wow.
role in communication. If I can hold that your tongue, you'll not be able to communicate.
Mm-hmm.
It is one of
Mm-hmm.
very, very important organ in communication. So we have
Okay.
articulation disorders, those ones that originate from problems of articulators. You get it? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
Yes.
then we also have voice disorders. We can have voice disorders can originate from voice box. You know voice box? Another name
Yes.
for it, it's called larynx or vocal folds. So it may have a
Larynx.
problem. Yes,
Larynx.
yes,
Okay.
larynx. So if,
Mm-hmm.
for example, let me give you an example. If you have a common cold, you will find that it's very hard for you to communicate. Common cold. You get that? That could be maybe an infection to the larynx or something in that line, just from a layman point of view. So we have voice disorders, we have fluency disorders. So fluency disorders will be categorized on issues to do with stuttering and stammering. Think you know of stuttering and
Mm.
stammering and
Yes.
stammering? Yes. And
Yes.
then we also have other disorders that may be as a result of neurological. For example, we have muscle-based disorders that affect communication, like we have dysarthria, apraxia, aphasia, so many things that may affect the ability of someone to communicate. So, in
Wow.
a overview.
So whenever someone is having issues to do with their speech, from what I get from you is that it might be articulation disorders, voice disorder, fluency disorder, or other disorders related to the neurological side of a human being.
True,
So
true.
today we are not going into the details of this because today it is just a brief introduction of a speech therapy. So I just want some of the major contributing factors to speech delay, especially in the current world when it comes to young kids, because so many people met are experiencing this in their families. Their kids are all the way up to 6 years, but they are not able to talk. What are some of the contributing factors?
Okay, yeah. Thank you for that question. There are a lot of contributing factors that can lead to speech delay. So first of all, before we even go into deep on those factors, let's understand the difference between speech and language. There is a difference between someone
Oh.
may think that you have a problem with speech, but in real sense you have a problem with language. They are two different things, and they are
Wow.
located in different parts of the brain, not in the same part. So the first
Oh.
thing that a child or an adult is supposed to acquire language before speech. So if there is no language, you can't have speech. So as a child
Mm-hmm.
grows, a child learns a lot of language from the environment. So
Yes.
that language, whatever child will learn from the environment, that is what will translate into speech. That's why children will start with visuals before they even try to utter even verbals, words like ba, 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 such kind of words. They first learn
Yes.
the language. Yes. So,
Mm-hmm.
so many things can lead to delay in language. Let me start with that. First of all, I can categorize them as, let me start with the neurological factors. So neurological factors will affect, we can have, number one, they are called congenital. We can have congenital and acquired. So neurological can be divided into congenital and acquired. Acquired is when a child has been born, then a child can acquire speech delay or language delay. A child can be born, that one is called congenital, can be born with speech delay. So we can have issues. Maybe when the mother is pregnant, we have issues. There are so many issues like exposure maybe to toxics or chemicals or very hard metals, very dangerous metals, or alcoholism, even during birth, the way the mother is being handled, the time the mother is giving birth, very, very important for the growth of of the fetus and the baby by the time the baby is being born. So when a mother is pregnant, a mother is supposed to watch how she takes care of the fetus.
Oh,
Very, very
yes.
important. During deliveries, it is also very, very important for the healthcare professionals, like nurses and midwives, to make sure that they give excellent services, because that's where also we have so many issues that affect children. For example, we have ASD. ASD is called autism spectrum disorder. It can easily originate from there, though some are also congenital. So it's very important to check, because now I've told you we can have insufficient intake of oxygen by the time the mother is giving birth.
Oh, yes.
Yes, when the oxygen is not, when the child is not able, maybe the child has been in the womb for a long time and the fetus is tired. Let me call it the child because it's being born. It's very tired. Let me use the name child for the other people to understand. So by the time the child is very tired, the child will want to come out, the baby. So the baby
Yes.
may during the process of delivery, the baby may fail to get enough oxygen directed to the brain. The first thing that
Oh,
a baby is
yes.
supposed to do when the baby is out is to cry. So
Yes.
if that cry fails to happen, then automatic there's a very serious problem. Okay,
Yes.
because that cry indicates that there is an oxygen that the child has taken in, and the lungs
Yes.
and everything have opened up. And
Yes.
those are very key issues in the development of the brain of the child, especially that first gasp of oxygen from the environment. If that fails, maybe the child is tired or something, then it can lead to immediate. We have brain cells. We have brain cells. So if there is no sufficient oxygen in the brain, then the brain cells of that child at that time, the baby, some parts may die, and it may lead
Yes.
to other conditions, not only SD, so many conditions that can affect the child. That one can be termed as congenital. Then maybe if the child is growing, the child is playing. So after the child is outside, I told you we are going to look at the factors in those forms. We are going to check out the congenital and acquired. So congenital, I've given you, for example, by the time the child is born, and I've also told you the environmental factors. Maybe the
Yes.
mother is exposed to toxic substances, chemicals, or something, or a lot of stress, or the mother is not taking sufficient food, balanced diet, because the child entirely depends on the mother, or the mother
Yes.
is going a lot of trauma, things like that. Then, by the time the baby is born, we may have what is called acquired, like TBI. TBI is called traumatic brain injury in fall. Maybe the child is playing, then the child maybe fell and hit the head. That one may affect or may bring issues with the speech. or the kind of the environment the child is growing in. The kind of the environment the child is growing can also affect or lead to speech delay. For example, so many children will be exposed to a lot of cartoon 24/7. Cartoon is not bad, but
Aha, cartoon. Wow.
it is not bad, but
Mhm.
it has to be regulated. A child learns more by interacting with people than cartoons. Yes, so that one can lead to a child having low self-esteem when now the child is exposed to other peers because the child is used to screens. So when the child is exposed to other peers, that may affect the self-esteem, that may delay the ability of the child to express himself or herself. You get such
Wow.
kind of issue. Yes. So
Wow.
yeah, that may
So I,
affect.
I get I get that there's a difference between the speech delay and language delay. The
Yeah.
first thing to be acquired is language, then
Yes.
speech. And
Yes.
some of the things that are affecting language delay are, as you have said, we have congenital and acquired, right?
True. True. Yeah.
So acquired, I've had so many complaints, especially when it comes to cartoon. These common ones that just have songs, they're themed songs. Most children who listen or watch cartoons have language delay, as you have said. And from my point of view, what you say is that cartoons cause children to have a language delay because they do not interact with the kids. But if you interact with the kids one on one, they are likely to learn faster
Yes.
than if they deal with
Let me
cartoons.
let me correct something.
Mhm.
I'm not demonizing cartoon. Cartoon is
Yes.
also another way children learn.
Oh.
Yes, they learn a lot through cartoon,
Mhm.
but I'm emphasizing the importance of regulating as a parent.
Regulating.
Yes,
Like, what
not
would you recommend as a screen time for children under the age of 6 years?
I think a child should not be more than 4 hours on a screen per day.
4 hours.
Yes, should not. That one
Oh,
now is it not only affects even speech, it affects even their self-esteem.
wow.
Yes.
So, what are some of the activities that you would like to recommend to parents instead of just letting their children or their kids to watch cartoons? What are the alternative methods of entertainment that can enable their children to learn faster? Because cartoon
O-
should not be
Okay.
the whole day. Like some people spend even as much as 10 hours on the screen,
I
but
know.
it should be reduced to 4 hours. So, what are some of the alternative entertainment methods that parents should adapt when it comes to entertaining their kids?
Okay. Aha. I wish I would have to explain more on neurological aspect of
Oh, yes.
speech and language, so
Mhm.
at least we are able to grasp how the concept of engaging the children from the perspective of human than screen comes in. So I would say
All right.
that
Mhm.
I that we first acquire language before we acquire speech.
Speech. Yes.
Yes. So the way God created us is let me use that term. All those parts, the parts for speech and the parts for language in the brain is
Mhm.
they are totally different. So we first get what is called comprehension. Comprehension we get from what we listen from our ears. Auditory.
Mhm.
Auditory. So we get the information like now I'm talking to you. You are able to
Yes.
get what I'm saying. Then you are
Mhm.
auditory. It's also a very complex organ. We'll send
Yes.
signals to the brain. There's a
Mhm.
specific part of the brain. which is called Winnicke's area. Sorry to use that term. So
Win what?
it's Winnicke's area.
All right. All right.
So yeah, so we
Dr. Today you're using terms that I've never heard of. Okay, continue.
so that part is responsible for what is called comprehension. So it gets signals from the ear. Let me use that layman term, from the ear, neural signals, then
Yes.
comprehend, make meaning of those signals. They are not sounds. Make meaning of the signals, and it send the signals to a specific part of the brain called Broca's area. So Broca's area is what is now responsible for speech. So it triggers the speech and sends signals to various parts of the brain. For example, a primary motor cortex, which will activate the articulators, the lips, muscles, and everything. Let me go that shallow. So from
Yes.
there, you are able to express yourself. So when there's a problem, for example, maybe we have an adult who have lost speech as a result of aphasia. Aphasia is caused by what is called cerebrovascular accident, or it's something to do. Let me say the stroke. Maybe you can be able to understand it from that perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you check at many patients who have stroke, they are not able to express themselves. And that could be that is exactly what I'm trying to explain. So when it comes to the part of a child, for example, a child who's exposed to too much cartoon, they tend to understand whatever they see is what they believe exists in their environment.
Yes.
Yes, so they tend to know that everything surrounding their life is cartoon. If they don't interact with real human beings, the kind of information they get from those parts I've explained. And they work, all of them, even the frontal lobe, the executive function part that make meaning of things. It's very complex. They will try to get information and realize that they learn that me as a baby or as a child, I only know how to interact with cartoon. So they will develop a condition called selective mutism. Selective mutism affects so many children in school. You realize a child is not able to express themselves in a particular environment, but they
Yes.
are free to express themselves in another environment. That can affect their ability to grow and even to learn in class because of
Yes.
how their parents are bringing them up at home. They
Wow.
watch cartoon 24. Cartoon is not bad. Don't try that one, it's bad. It can also help with it can also educate children. But I'm saying
Yes.
number one, you have to check the content. Is it appropriate with the age of the child? We'll discuss that in the next episode.
Yes.
Different
We'll discuss it.
developmental milestones.
Yes.
We'll discuss that from 0 age up to 9. So you are able to know what is the appropriate content at this particular age. What is the
Yes.
appropriate type of cartoon that my child of 3 years is supposed to watch?
Yes.
You get that? Because so that
Yes.
the child is able to learn. And then to what level am I supposed to allow my child to get this information? You see, right now, most parents are busy looking for money because of economy is very hard, things are very tough, and cartoon will be an easier way to keep their children busy.
Busy. Yes.
Maybe they are crying, you put them in cartoon. I highly discourage that. So they keep quiet watching cartoon. And you don't know why that cat. If you yourself you cannot make your child to keep quiet, why do you think cartoon can do it for you? If cartoon can do it for you, you have a problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you're supposed to connect better with your child more than cartoon. Anyway,
Yes.
that will be another topic. Let's have a discussion of cartoon. Maybe we have a whole maybe 30 minutes discussion for
Cartoon.
the cartoon, or let's not say about cartoon. Maybe let's talk about the content, the age appropriate content of children.
For children.
For children, yes.
Okay.
So
All right.
we have another time, then we will be able to discuss that and then learn and then learn and then learn.
Yeah, we can discuss this in our next episode because I can see we are running out of time. We barely have 4 minutes, but there's someone who's just asked concerning what happens to adults who have difficulty in speech, especially when they're agitated or mad. How can you help? Is it something that can be corrected, or what advice should you give such type of a person?
Yeah, okay. That is a common problem for most adults, especially those who have stage fright, those who fear. Maybe
All right.
I can be able to express myself in the house, but when I
Yes.
go where there are so many people or dignitaries,
Mm-hmm.
I develop that fear, and then I lose my speech.
Mm-hmm.
So that is very common, but it is not per se as a disorder, but it is a
Mm-hmm.
condition. You know, there's a difference between a
A
given
disorder and a condition.
criteria that we use to assess and categorize if you have a disorder. But that
Okay.
is a condition that can be managed based on what is comprehensive assessment on what is leading to that. So unless we do a comprehensive assessment on that person, and then we'll be able to give a recommendations or
Mm-hmm.
alternative techniques that he can use to overcome that.
So
Because there
that
must
can
be
also be
something leading to
discussed
it.
in another episode.
Yes, yes. There's something leading to that. So that's
Oh,
something that leads to that is what you're supposed
work on. Oh, all right, all
to get
right.
it. Yes, yes.
Yes. Wow. Okay. It seems people have so many concerns around speech and the speech delay, but we want to assure our audience that we are going to come back within the next 2 or 3 episodes. We'll just handle this. Daktari, it seems that you are on high demand. People are asking. People are DMing me and people are asking so many questions that they would want you to tackle in our next episode. So,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
want to,
Maybe
yes,
just a minute. Let let's have maybe we can have all the questions. Then in our next episode, we can have maybe 10 minutes just questions before we
answering the
start this
questions.
discussions. Yes, yeah.
That's fantastic. We will write them down and then we'll work on them. And we want to thank our audience so much. We are live on Facebook, we are live on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Twitter. The handles are Belinda Odhiambo. Yes, we want to ask that Daktari, what is your parting shot to the audience?
Yeah, my parting shot will just be revolving around speech. Whatever can tell you, God gave us beautiful, beautiful, beautiful children. Let's take care of them. Let's support
Yes.
them. Let's create a conducive environment for them to learn, to grow, and to become better, better, better in future.
All right. Thank you so much. That's it from us this evening. I'm your host, Belinda Odhiambo, and thank you so much, Daktari, for coming just to share with us the nuggets that can help to improve the lives of our children and the people having speech technical issues. So thank you so much once again. And remember that this is Do for Self podcast. Up until next time, bye bye.
Bye bye. Thank you.